Reem Edan, I had it right the first time. Thanks for doing the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm excited to have you on.
This is fun.
We had a really good conversation where I was inquiring with you about like how to do NACA, which is like a college, basically how you break into the college circuit. And I was so impressed with like all your knowledge. I'm like, why haven't you been on the podcast yet?
Yeah.
So here you are, basically the next day.
Yep, exactly. Bada bing, bada boom. We work fast in Hollywood. That's how things work here.
Yeah. That is actually the one last good thing about being in LA is that like a lot of things that happen here are like, who can do it? Oh, Reem can do it. Let's go. And that you still miss out on if you're in all these other markets.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like every day. Actually, my friend was telling me that there was a job he was up for and it got filled same day. Like just instantly. They need someone, they find someone. It's everything's a fire in the entertainment industry.
Totally. It's like everything has to be done last week.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're always playing catch up.
Exactly. And I used to work in the movie studio side too. Like I had a desk job. So as much as you think it's crazy as a creative, it's even crazier on the other end where it's like, we need this, we need it now, and losing your mind.
Yeah, totally. There's no, the pace is never consistent. And that's one of the hardest things to get used to from the 9 to 5 transition is that it just is the way it is.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. And you're about to go to Dubai? Is that my phone?
I think that
what
is.
An amateur.
Do we need to start over?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was just an alarm that I hate that the iPhone does this. It's like there's an alarm, you click the top button, and then it just keeps going.
Is it the stop or the snooze thing?
It's like the top bar. When the top bar pops up and you touch it, it keeps going. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought it was like a snooze stop situation.
I don't know. Maybe I just don't know how to use the alarm, but it always...
Go back to Droid, bro. We don't want you. I'm just kidding.
I was never on Droid, although I was a BlackBerry holdout.
You were?
Yeah.
When did you get rid of your BlackBerry?
2010.
When did they start going away?
Around then.
Was it like 2005 or something?
2000. No. It was like when the cool iPhone, like the 2 glass one came, like the iPhone, after the iPhone 3G, like the iPhone 4.
Yeah.
That's when it was like, all right. And because that was the first time it was on Verizon.
Oh, yeah.
And I was on Verizon. And I'm like, I'm not going to switch to AT&T because all my friends on AT&T can't get reception.
Yeah.
You're giving me the face like you have AT&T.
I don't have it. No, I'm just laughing. In my mind, I'm imagining all the douchebags that I remembered who would like have an iPhone and a BlackBerry because like they wouldn't convert and like, well, I'm just going to have 2. Did you do that too?
I did not do that.
Okay. Also,
was I giving you the face that I did do that?
No, I'm not saying all of you guys are douchebags. I was just picturing one particular douchebag as you were saying this. So that's what my face was indicating. And I was like, oh, fuck, I'm just sitting here with these 2 phones.
Yeah. I mean, I used to work in the recording studio and like so many people had the 2 phone thing.
Yeah. It was a huge thing. Even when I had my my day job at the studio, they were like, we can give you 2 phones. And I was like, yeah, I'm into it. And that lasted a week. And I was like, I'm sorry, take your phone back.
Yeah.
Just convert to my number. I can't do this. It was too much. It was helpful when I'd go out to party. Then I was like, I'm only going to take this phone because they'll replace it.
Yeah. In case you drop it?
In case I drop it or lose it. I was really good at losing phones in college. I think I lost 10 phones in college. It was intense.
That's because normally people take their own phone so they don't get called by work.
Yes.
You're like, I'm going to throw this bitch at the wall.
Yes, exactly.
Drop
I was like,
it.
whatever.
It's like your no case life.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm unreachable. Sorry. Like, I would have responded to your email, but my phone was shattered.
I love no case life. I mean, I have a case.
Are you really no case life?
No, but I love it in theory. I can't do it, but like I really look up to people who can do it.
You know, I just feel like people who can do it are so responsible. There's something sleek about them. They're like, it's fine. I got it.
They're chill. They're zen.
Yeah.
And if they break it, it doesn't bother them.
I feel like these people don't use condoms as well. I don't know.
Let's go with yes.
Let's ask them.
Yeah, they're
Call
not
your top 5
they're not
friends.
vaccinated.
No.
They go no case.
They just walk into a room, no mask even.
Yeah. I want to get back to that conversation we had. It's basically going to be a redux of what we talked about on the phone, if you don't mind.
Oh, no.
But I thought it was very interesting, and I think other people would like it. So I called you, and I said, hey, I was going to sign up to do this NACA thing. Is it worth it? Because it's about $600-ish. And before I pulled the trigger, I was like, I know Reem kills it in the college circuit. Let me ask her.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no,
Shine.
NACA. I like that you say NACA, because
Is it NACA?
Where were you born?
Canada.
Okay, that makes
NACA.
sense. But in Colorado, we say like NACA. So I don't know who's saying it right.
Let's go with you.
Yeah. So what was the question? Should I just talk everything NACA, or what should I delve into?
Before you pay the fee to NACA, like what should you know?
Well, I guess I'll start at the beginning. I was always interested in like doing college stuff. And yeah, I was in a position where I'm like, what do I need to know? I think I'd brought it up to my first managers, and they're like, oh, down the road. So there's like a few steps if you want to get into NACA. So NACA, first of all, is a National Association of Collegiate Activities, I think.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So for anyone listening who doesn't know what it is, it's this like conference that you go to where you as a comedian or a musician or a magician or whatever go to get booked on college campuses. And what's great about that is there's a lot of money to be made, and that's how you can sustain yourself as a comedian or as a, an entertainer or whatnot. There's even like basically like everything that you experienced on a college campus. Did you go to college?
Yeah.
So do you remember like they did like the runs and the marathons and the t-shirt printing and like the film club and all these little, activities?
Yeah, I never paid attention, but I'll take your word for it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't in it. I was kind of like, oh, I was out breaking cell phones.
Right.
But so like there's every school or that I know of has like an activities board, and that activities board has an X amount of money to provide activities and engagement for the year. And so that's why they bring out entertainers to their school. I remember when I was in school, we had pretty big people come. Like we had like Sebastian Ingrosso and Axwell from Swedish House Mafia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had like big concerts and stuff. And then I remember my sister's school had Cal Penn come out like right at the height of like Harold and Kumar and all that stuff. So thinking back, I'm like, oh, I can see I've been to NACA, not NACA events because that's like the broad level, but I've been to like student activity events that probably originated at a NACA. Right. So anyway, so it's this conference that happens several times a year in different parts of the country. There's regional conferences, and then there's the national one. The national one obviously is like the biggest. It's like, it's the one like remember when you watch Mighty Ducks and it's like they all go to the thing. Like the nationals, NACA nationals is that big, bada boom. And then the regional conferences, basically they look at the schools in that region and they're like, all right, so NACA West is everything from Oregon down to Southern California. And then there's like North Plains, there's Midwest, there's Northeast, there's South. I've never been invited to NACA South. I was like, they don't want like a...
Get her this year, come on.
Right. I'm like, y'all don't want like a Muslim comedian? I'm kind of Mexican. Bring me. Come on. So they have like these different regions. And the reason they do that is because they want to make it accessible for these schools to go to that one event. Yeah. And then if you get booked at that one event at the NACA, which I'll get into in a bit, the schools can do this thing called block booking. So if you're a comic and you go to NACA, let's say North Plains, which is like Minnesota area, Wisconsin, and 6 schools were interested in you. What they can do is get together and book you at a little bit of a lower rate because they know you're already going to be in that area and your travel expenses are going to be lower, but it works out in everybody's best interest. And that's why they have schools from regions and locations that are close together come to the same conference, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in NACA as any kind of performer, you should have 45 minutes to an hour of a set, whatever that means. Because when they book you, it's usually like on the contract, it's like they book you for the hour. And it has to be clean. Like it has to, but it doesn't have to. So when you go to a showcase.
And when you say clean, are you talking no swear words or no controversial stuff?
That's funny because I had a comedy show last night and it was for a very older crowd in their 50s. And in fact, one of the comics made a joke about a blunt, and then the organizer typed in the chat on Zoom, a blunt is a cigarette rolled with leaves containing marijuana. I was like, wow, okay. So I asked them before the show too, like, what does clean mean? And it's your interpretation of clean. You have to remember that like we're in a very touchy society right now. Like when you go to these NACAs, everybody has a pin with like their preferred gendered pronoun and like there's safe space markers everywhere. And it's like, it's very intense to be in school right now versus like what we experienced, for better or for worse. I don't know. So clean to me is not getting overly sexual. No real cursing. I mean, I say a little shit. There's a little shit in one of my jokes, but it's not aggressive.
Is that how you say it? Like little shit?
Just a little shit. Little boop. Yeah. That's a weird noise. So no, I have a joke where I'm like, I'm Muslim, half Sunni, half Shiite, full shit show. That's not bad. Like that's
yeah. You can kind of forget if the rest of your act is clean. You can forget that you even said that.
Yeah. But I don't know if you've seen the show Crashing by Pete Holmes
Yeah.
on HBO. Yeah, if there's a NACA episode. And I believe Jamie Lee's character does her set and she just gets real sexual. Like I think she makes a rape joke or whatever and it just doesn't work. And so when that happens, it's bombing hard, but bombing hard in front of people who are like basically waving money at you.
Yeah.
And I've also seen it happen in real life where if you get offensive, that's also part of clean. You don't want to be offensive. You want to steer clear of any jokes that might offend anyone.
Right.
So, and I've seen it backfire. Like if you offend people, then they're just like, meow, and you don't get booked, and it's weird. And then you're at the booth by yourself, and nobody wants to talk to you, and you're avoided like the plague, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
So
It's almost safe to say avoid race jokes altogether.
kind of not really, because I also talk. You can do identity jokes, but don't do jokes where you poke fun at a race. I mean, even
It basically has to be your race.
it has to be your race. Yeah. Which I think is a good rule of thumb, but
Yeah.
it's not like comedy club rules where it's like, oh, whatever, anything goes as long as you have a good point
Right. Or a good laugh.
or a good laugh. Yeah,
Yeah,
people
yeah.
might laugh, but they're like, oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. So have 45 minutes to an hour. I'm gonna admit, like when my agent found me and was like, do you have 45 minutes to an hour of clean material? I was like, yes. And I did not.
How much did you have?
I think I had like 20.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah. And
So you had 20 minutes of material and 25 minutes of crowd work?
no, I had never done crowd work.
Oh boy.
I was like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I was like, I mean, I think I have like 25 minutes of material. And I could probably put together another 20 minutes based on like ideas I have or like little things or jokes. I'm like, and I'm also quick on my feet, but I'd never done crowd work. And do you do crowd work?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a muscle.
Totally. Yeah.
It's-
I almost lost it during the pandemic. Like,
Really?
That was the first thing that went. I was like, oh, I'm rusty at this.
The first thing that went.
And then the mask doesn't help because like you can get a lot of reaction out of people from their face.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
my first couple shows back with masks, I was like, oh, this is much harder now.
Yeah, it is. You reminded me, I had a college show during the pandemic. First of all of my shows canceled. All my shows last April and May, which is like the busy season, March, April, for colleges. They all one by one just were obliterated. And I was like, cool, there's a lot of money that I thought I was going to make that I'm no longer making.
Right.
So that was slightly devastating. But some of them came back in the fall or were over Zoom, which we'll get to. But yeah, I remember like doing my crowd work and I was like, are you laughing at me? Are you sad? I can't see your face.
Yeah.
And I was like, your eyes are not, they're not telling me what I need. And then the girl like ripped off her mask and I was like, put it back on. I was kidding.
Yeah. She's dead. From
She's
COVID,
dead. Yeah.
But
Rest her soul. Yeah. So I didn't have as much as I said I had, but
isn't that a pretty common thing? Like,
Yeah.
you get an opportunity, it's like a stretch goal, and you're like, I could do it.
yeah, exactly.
You start pulling maybe some jokes you cut before,
Yep.
seeing if they'll work,
Yeah,
pausing a little longer for laughs, and then you're there.
exactly. My agent told me this thing. She's like, well, what you should do if you run out of material at the end is just be like, all right, now this part is the Q&A. Just
Right, yeah.
and if I was like, well, what if they don't have questions for you? And she's like, you bring your own. Like people always ask me what it's like to be a blah, blah, blah. Well, let me tell you.
You have a question? Oh, is that what you said? You just pretend like this.
Basically.
Especially on Zoom, you just pretend like some person said it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's what you're wondering. Yes,
Yeah,
thank
for those
you.
of you who didn't hear, the question was.
Exactly. So once you're in a place, you're like, all right, I'm ready to make money. I'm ready to go to NACA. I want to be on the college circuit. I want to make the money, like, you know, everything that's attached to it. You have to be ready to spend a lot of money. So my reps were like, just get a credit card specifically for this travel so that you can, you know, build up the points and always have all your expenses in the same place. Because once you start getting paid by these schools, you get your taxes are 1099 as an independent contractor, which means that you can expense a lot of things. So you expense your travel, your meals, your materials, like your advertising, all that stuff. You get to expense because now you're making money from it. So yeah, like you said, I mean, I don't even remember how much the fees are. I just remember they would be like, "Is it okay to charge $350 on your card?" I'm like, "Okay."
It was something along the lines of like 600-ish for all of them, and
Okay.
then regional was like 200-ish.
What do you mean? Because like if it's all of them, aren't the regionals in it?
But you can choose. You can go to a regional, or there's like one that does
Oh.
all of them or something.
So you can do, I think there's like 7 regions or something. I don't know. Let's say there's 7 regions and then there's nationals. I paid, I think it's like under 100 to do each one, but altogether it's like 700 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then if you get into one, then you have to pay an additional fee to go. And then you have to pay for your travel and your food and your lodging and then your buttons or your t-shirts or whatever promo material you have. There's a lot of like
So it feels
costs.
like $2,000 ish.
I'd say $2,000.
Yeah.
$2,000's a good number. Yeah. I mean, I was trying to cheap it too. I shared a room like I was.
$2,000 is probably cheaping it.
Yeah,
By the time
probably.
you make your buttons and all your stuff.
Yeah, let's say. Well, I think you could do it. I think I did it for like $1,200.
Oh wow.
I want to say, and I got into 4 NACAs. No, like $1,500. Let's say. I did buttons. People did other things. Like you can go with your shtick. Like there's a comic, DJ Demers, who
Yeah. He's another guy who does colleges a lot. Great friend of mine.
Yeah. So we're up by the same agent.
Yeah.
So he used to have what are those things called? Earplugs that had his name on it because it's like he's hard of hearing comedian. So
Right.
that like made sense and people remembered him. He does great on the college circuit.
Oh yeah, he's so funny and
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Really, such a good guy too.
Yeah, he's great. I love him. And then you have to like print out little cards. I mean, my agent made me, but like you print out these cards and then people are like, "Can you sign it?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, guys,
Yeah. Does it have your photo on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it the ugliest photo I had that she printed? Yeah, but like whatever, it's still my photo.
Right.
So yeah, so like once you are ready for the cost, like let's say $2,000. You have to have $2,000 ready to spend or put on a credit card if you believe in yourself.
Right. Or 0 interest for 6 months.
Exactly. There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah. I opened up a Southwest credit card just for this because Southwest is the best for college touring because if a date changes, there's like no change fees. I guess
Right.
things are different now. But yeah, Southwest is the way to go.
Yeah. I like Southwest. I like that.
I don't know why people complain. I love Southwest.
Yeah. I like that it's equal. There's no first class.
Yep.
It's just kind of even.
Yeah. There is actually on certain flights, there's business class.
Really? Mm-hmm. They went for the money.
They couldn't stop themselves.
Yeah.
I wonder if those seats are assigned or if it's all free for all, or if you're all just rich together in a group.
Yeah. Delta and Southwest are my two.
Yes, me too. Delta is number 1 in my heart.
Oh, for sure. Delta number 1.
The best.
Yeah.
I saw a TikTok that was like Delta like versus like Alaska versus like Hawaii and then Spirit. And it was like just like very
like a little sketch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you have the capital, you have the 45 minutes, clean material. I would say more upbeat material because it just performs better, I think.
Like 45 on depression, probably not the best.
I mean, you could do on depression because that's very relatable, but like, are you gonna, if you're too, I don't want to say too heady, but like, you have to have some energy. Like, even when I perform for NACA, I'm much more energetic than I normally am.
How you doing tonight, San Francisco?
I literally do that. I'm like, what's up?
Who's in psychology?
Oh my God. And so I have this rap I do that I used to do as like my closer.
Yeah.
And it's called The Fresh Princess of Baghdad. And so
Yeah.
I like sing to the theme song of Fresh Prince of
I've
Bel-Air.
heard it.
Yeah. Well, my agent made me do it to an actual soundtrack when I was at NACA.
Like she played the beat?
Yeah. I'm like, hit it, DJ. And then the guy starts, it's like,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, in the winter. It's so bad. So embarrassing, but she makes me do it. And she's like, believe me, it'll work.
Did it work?
It worked. But it was like, I was cringing on the inside.
Yeah. It is funny that like a lot of like advice that fits certain marketing things or certain things in the business, the artist's reaction is always cringe.
Yeah.
And they're not right all the time, but sometimes they are right. You get through the other side, you're like, all right, it was brutal, but they were right.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've come to learn at the college market. I'm like, I don't want to. Oh, okay, I made some money. That's fine.
Yeah. There's like a not wanting to embarrass ourselves thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Which I think actor comedians have less of. They're like, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
Tell me. Because they can like get out of that. But
Yeah.
comedians are a bit like, more like musicians. Like, I'm not going to be uncool.
Yeah,
That's not.
exactly. Well, because comedy is so, I don't want to say ego driven, but it's so identity driven, right?
Yeah.
Where acting, you're just like putting on hats and doing whatever they need you to do. But stand up is like you're talking about your personal life and then you're going to be associated with this dumb thing that you did and you don't want to be that person.
Right. Even like I'm not an actor and I don't do acting.
Yeah.
But if I did acting, I was like, I feel like it's still me.
Yeah.
Like I haven't gotten to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm somebody else.
That's what's so hard for me as an actor. Like I've been taking acting classes and stuff, but it's so hard for me to put myself in other people's shoes. I'm like, What would I do here?
I just mean like the judgment. Like if I played like a really horrible person.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not like, I don't feel people would separate it. And I feel like that's already happening. I
Yeah.
feel like acting is a thing. People are getting way more judgmental of the person behind the role
Yeah.
for what the character did.
Yeah, exactly.
It might be a dead profession in 10 years.
Well, that's funny because also in my acting class, they were like, you need to stop judging the character. And I'm like,
Which
"No."
acting class are you doing?
With Myra Turley. She's
Okay.
great. She used to teach out of her garage in what's that place called? The Valley.
We're in the Valley.
I forgot. That's why I switched. Wait, it's Van Nuys. There you
Van
go.
Nuys. Okay.
Van Nuys.
You're just like, you're in my garage, then you're in an acting garage.
I know there's so many garages that don't have cars in them. Like this is wild. We don't have this in Colorado.
Well, a lot of the garages in LA are so small,
Mm-hmm.
you can't even fit a car in them.
Yeah, this would fit like barely
This
two
would
cars.
fit a car, but a lot of them are like, you can't fit a
Two
car.
cars.
It would fit. This one, this is not one of those garages, but a lot of them are small.
Is this a garage or is this like a guest room?
This is a garage, but it's confusing because behind there is the garage door.
Oh.
So, but there's no garage. Like it's just like 2 feet, then the garage door.
So there's no like up and down door.
There is, but it doesn't like it up and downs to space like this big.
Oh, because you converted this place.
I didn't. The previous owner did.
Okay, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm into it. This is very fancy.
So the
man
previous
pad.
owner had their son living in here.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Interesting, right?
Put him in the outhouse.
Put him in the. I mean, yeah, basically.
Would you let your kids live with you when they were older?
Till how old?
I mean, it sounds like this dude was like 30.
I mean, he was in his 20s.
How old would you let your kids be until?
How
they
long
kicked
can they
them out?
be on? If it was like
26. 26 is when they.
26, ugh.
I know it's really sad.
I'd be like, I'd be a big proponent of like 18 and out. That's my ideal. That's what I did.
Yeah,
But or maybe I was 19.
I was 18.
Yeah, I did 1 year of college at home, and then that was done
Got it.
at 19. I think that's fair.
I think that's a good one.
20. All right, like what's going on?
Yeah.
If you're like like if I'm paying for their college,
Yeah.
and they're going to UCLA and they want to live at home, sure,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
That's like a bunch of money I'm saving. I got
Exactly.
no problems with that.
Exactly.
But you know, if you're not in college or you graduated college,
You're just chilling.
it's a good life lesson to be like kind of like mini versions of what we're talking about, expenses, like life, like bills,
Figuring out how to float.
figuring out how to float, where to buy egg t-shirts.
Where to get them.
Yeah.
I didn't know until I knew. And
Yeah.
I took
I
me
didn't know
getting,
they exist.
Here they are. I think this is a men's t-shirt, to be honest with
Is
you.
it really?
I think it is. I think it actually says men's on the inside.
I think it's something a man would wear.
You know what? I was trying to pull this cool like artiste thing. I was like, whatever, I can do what I want.
I like it.
Thank you. My sister doesn't.
Yeah.
She stopped me, and she stopped me before I left, and was like, no.
Do you live with her?
I do live with her. Yeah.
That's a good roommate situation.
I like it.
Kind of, right?
I mean, no, I really like it. We've lived together for a long time. She's actually the reason I moved out to LA because I was trying to move to New York, and then she's like, "Just come crash on my couch and party with me." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll move to the West Coast with ambitions of living on the East Coast," and then I've been here ever since.
Right, yeah. There's always that I moved here from New York, so it's always like
Oh,
New York always has this pull.
yeah,
It's
it
like-
does. I think I must have
Like
had a past
unfinished
life
business.
there.
Like that's how I feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I have like the only two like white girl pictures in my house are like two cityscapes of New York, and like just in my
I thought you were gonna say Audrey Hepburn.
no, but I
Like
feel like the New
actual
York
white girl.
skyline is right up there.
It's pretty, yeah.
It's pretty basic.
But it's a good place to do comedy.
Yeah,
You kind of lucked out. Everyone who's here lucked out because the pandemic was so much better here.
yeah.
to
Although
deal with.
I left for the pandemic. I was here for a few months, and then I was like, "Deuce, I'm going home to Colorado."
That's
to my
even
parents'
better.
place. Yeah,
But no question is like you're on top of each other in elevators and
Yeah,
subways
yeah,
in the
yeah,
cold
yeah.
in New York. It's like not a good pandemic city.
yeah. I don't think. Yeah, apparently they're reopening July 1st. You know that
Yeah. I mean, clubs are open. Gotham was open.
Gotham's open.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
So time to start doing those New York trips again,
I
booking
know.
shows.
Time to start dieting, dude. Hot girl summer.
Before we wrap up the NACA section, I want to ask you, because you brought up crashing, like how close and accurate was the
So
crashing
accurate.
episode?
So accurate. Which I really appreciated too. And I didn't want to watch it until after I'd been to a NACA because I'm the kind of person where if you tell me something is this way, I believe it's that way.
Yeah.
And it'll ruin it for myself. No, it's incredibly accurate, especially like with one person doing well and the other person not doing as well. And like And sometimes you don't even know why one person just doesn't get booked as much.
Yeah.
So,
and the t-shirts and him being kind of cheasy and
yeah.
that working for him.
Yep,
and the catchphrase.
Exactly. That's what
Yeah.
mine was. My catchphrase was millennial Muslim.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's helpful to have a catchphrase. So I'll just give a little more info about NACA. Sorry, I get very sidetracked.
No, this is a free form. It's all good.
Fantastic. So a lot of people were trying to figure out, like you included, if you should do it with an agent or by yourself. I recommend doing it with an agent just because not only are there so many costs associated with like applying and stuff, but once you go, you have to get a booth because there's basically like a convention center conference hall thing. Everyone has a booth, all the people who are selling like merch for blah, blah, blah. And then comics. And so a lot of my shows get booked because I do my showcase and then I go hang out at the booth and I meet the students and I take pictures with them and they think I'm famous. And then I kind of am, but I might. And then I like sign autographs and blah, blah, blah. And like a lot of the schools I booked were the ones that I interacted with at the booth.
Yeah.
If you go with an agent, the agent gets the booth. So that's a cost that's taken out. Also, they know the market so much better than you do. And they're the ones who go negotiate the rates for you. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's always better to have a third party negotiate your contract because, for us, we're like, I'll work for free.
Pizza's fine. Whatever you need.
It's the experience and the opportunity.
It's funny you say that because I came from like the music business on the business side where I was... I would do a lot of negotiating and it was no problem.
Yeah.
And then the second it became about me, it's totally different because
so
you
bad.
still want to be likable.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's about you.
And you don't want to like shoot yourself in the foot, which it's also scary when you have your rep out there like negotiating for you because I'm like, don't ruin it.
Yeah.
Like I remember
I want this.
I want it. My rep was negotiating something recently and I was like, okay. All right, well, like if like the worst case scenario, I'll take the original amount. Like
you're just texting him on the side. Whatever she says is wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, just be careful because I want to do it.
Yeah.
But you've heard those horror stories that happens, where like the reps ruin it for you.
That can happen.
Yeah.
But also, it's like you can't negotiate if you're not willing to walk away.
That's true.
So if you're 100% gonna take it, then there's no negotiation.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Anytime you're negotiating, there's a chance you're gonna blow it.
Whew, I'm not a risk taker. I'm not a gambler. I mean, I am.
But you are with stand up and the career choices. So
I'm just not a gambler. I do take risks.
Yeah.
Lots of risks. But gambling, like investing, I'm like, what if I don't make my money back?
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's funny. Even the last guest, we talked about that. Because everyone and their mom is now like an NFTs and an investor or buying Dogecoin or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, well, my career is so risky. I'm not going to also risk my money.
Yeah, exactly. Nope, can't do it. My sister's in finance. She tells me all the stuff. She invests. She does it all. And I'm like, great, good for you. I'll be your dependent.
Right.
So
it is like this podcast started off with a little bit of an angle of talking about investing. Mm-hmm. And then I found that like mostly what was happening is everyone wanted to talk about weed stocks. So
really?
It became like the same thing. And I was like, I don't think this is going to have a wide enough berth.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about the business we're in as opposed to investing in stocks.
I love that.
And then lo and behold, now everyone's a stock investor.
I know. Everyone's like on their little Robin Hood. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's easier to laugh at them than participate. I'm like, you're stupid, but also making more money than me.
It's funny, like it's the same process of like a new social media site, which is like, first you make fun of it.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
I'm not going to get on TikTok. I'm like not young enough. And then here I am on TikTok.
Yeah. Then you join and then you regret not joining earlier.
Exactly. That's how I am with Clubhouse. Are you on Clubhouse?
Yeah. I have a Clubhouse show at 12 o'clock.
Really?
Yeah.
Should I get on Clubhouse?
I kind of dig it. There's a cool group called Brown Comedians or something.
Yeah.
So definitely come for that and see if you like it. That's fun.
I think I'm on that Instagram chain about it.
Yeah. So I think it's Thursdays at 5.
Isn't today Friday?
Oh, the one I'm on today is a different thing.
Oh, okay. So I should do it. So I should just do it.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start.
Just sign up. It's pretty easy.
I haven't. I went on for like 1 second once and I was like, ugh, and I got off.
That's the natural reaction to it, even still today.
Really?
But when you see some of your friends on, it's better. You're like, oh, okay, my friend is here, and then you can.
And you just go on and talk, or you just listen.
No. I mean, I go on with the intention of eventually talking, or I just hang up. Like.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to sit there and listen to people.
No.
It's like watching a stand-up show where you're not performing. Do you know how horrible that is?
It's rough. It can be good sometimes.
Okay, so do it.
Do it and see if it's for you. It's not for everybody.
How often should I do it? I need help. Hold my hand and walk me through this.
Thursday, 5 p.m., join that group and see if you like it.
Okay.
There'll be a bunch of people you know.
Yes.
And the people will be asking questions to you specifically and being like, what's it like to be brown in your hair? Some of the questions are ridiculous, but it's fun. And
Are they
like,
typed questions or do they speak at you?
no, like someone will nominate like a speaker and they'll come up and they'll start talking. They'll ask a question, be like, hey, Joe Smith, you have a question for the comedians.
Oh.
And you know Fizza, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Fizza hosts it, and she's a great host. And
Yeah, no, I'm on the thing telling me to come to it, but I'm always like, I need to just get out of my own head. I did this with TikTok. I was like, no. And now it's like I get paid to do TikTok sometimes. So I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Get off it. Okay, I'm going to do it.
I mean, do you know Leah Lamar?
I know of her.
Yeah,
I've like met her a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, she's
killing it. I know.
Through the Clubhouse.
Yeah.
So it could be your platform as well. Who knows?
All right, I'll try. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to add one more platform to my plate. There's so many.
Yeah.
I make my TikToks, and then I do my tweets, and then I post my tweets on my Instagram, and then I post my DM. It's fun.
What's nice about Clubhouse is there's no pre-work.
That's true.
It's just talking. You just the work is like click.
Okay.
And you talk.
I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna do today my Uber home. So NACA.
So NACA, yeah.
Sorry.
I think you covered all the things on NACA. That's a good overview and like a good. The agent thing is important.
Get an agent. Get some merch. Find a shtick.
Make sure you have $2,000 at least.
Yeah. Get a hook. So
get a hook.
Yeah, for me, Muslimenial.
Yeah.
For you, what would you do? What's your hook?
That's actually something I've been struggling with. Is like, what is my hook? Because like every comedian, like no matter what, even if it's our choice, whether we choose it or not, people are going to be like, who's that guy or girl? They're about these three things.
Yeah. Yeah. So then what are those three things?
For me?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think they are for me?
Okay. Because you're not overly cultural. You're not overly like, I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah. Like I mean, I was born in Canada. Were you born here?
I was born in Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I didn't really grow up with a lot of like Uber. Even though like I was obviously one of the more ethnic people in Canada in the school I went to and always.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't part of my identity, so to speak.
Yeah.
Fahim and I talked about that a lot. It's like, I'm a comedian that happens to be this, but I'm not a this comedian.
Yeah. Does he identify as like a that comedian?
No, like, I mean, he's a comedian who happens to be Afghani.
Yeah.
Is the way he worded it on the podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas like, it's different. Like some people like super lean into it. And I don't think there's a right or wrong way. Like,
I don't know what I am, to be honest with you. Cause like I started off very much like, I'm Muslim and I'm Iraqi, blah, blah, blah. I was also pushed in that direction. I took like a comedy class and they're like, do that. And I was like, really? Because I didn't want to talk about that. And they're like, no, you should. And I was like, I should. So I did that. And then I kind of got into that cycle. And then now I've kind of gone away from it and did more like general jokes. So I'm still figuring it out because I'm also not trying to be like the blah, blah, blah comedian because I'm very Americanized.
Yeah.
So
I feel like other people have same way. I feel like other people have that role. I don't like ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, I already have a challenging name.
yeah.
Right. So it's like you have to bring it up. I bring it up like around the margins of jokes, but not like
fully.
so obvious, you know?
Yeah. I feel like it's also difficult for me because I do a bunch of international gigs.
Yeah.
And then for those, it's like I have to play into the Arabness of it. I guess I don't have to. Maybe I'm doing this wrong in my own head, but sometimes I book these Arab gigs, even domestically, and I'm like, okay, they want to hear relatable Arab, Muslim, whatever jokes. And then I like spend all this time writing those, and then I like come back and try to write everything on the other side, and it just I'm kind of in the middle.
Do you know Gad Elmaleh? Mm-hmm. I think he does it really well.
Yeah.
It's like he's Moroccan, but like I think grew up in France or Canada or something.
Yeah.
And when he does Moroccan material, he goes into it a little bit, but it's not like the whole act.
Yeah.
You know, but he can go for that crowd deep into these one areas.
Yeah.
He has this great bit about Moroccan slippers.
Does he? I need to rewatch his stuff.
Do you know like those slippers? Like they can. He's like, when you walk basically to go the other way, you have to turn. Like you can't go backwards in these slippers. It's stupid. I mean, I'm totally ruining your joke there, Gad, but it killed. I saw him at the Improv, and he's funny in French and English. It's like,
I love that. He's really, and yeah, I saw his Netflix special. I'm gonna rewatch it though.
But I think like to me, that's what feels more natural to me.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I could like you be pushed in the direction to be like, all right, I'm gonna do more of that.
Yeah.
But I've never felt comfortable being too Moroccan. I guess I'm also half, so I just feel like I'm in both worlds always.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to figure out my identity is like being Arab American, but mostly American. Like
Yeah.
having just like a little bit of spice here and there, but not really. Like I'm not. There's also people. I'm very whitewashed. Kind of like I speak, read and write Arabic. I've lived in the Middle East.
Okay.
So not really. I had a kid at a show recently who she was from Iraq, and I was like, oh my God, I'm from Iraq. She's like, and I was like, wait, were you born here or did you immigrate? And she's like, no, I immigrated, but I just haven't got my Valley Girl accent yet. And I was like, what did you just say to me?
Right. Yeah.
What'd you say? What'd you say, bitch? What'd you say to me? Go back to your country. No. But I was gonna say, I forgot what I was saying.
What a hater.
I know, right? I was like, who do you think you is? You're boot her off the Zoom show.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I was trying. So I'm not really whitewashed, but what I'm trying to say is like, there's people who grew up in communities that were very Arab, and I did not. Like I've always been the outsider. Even like so when I was in Colorado, I was the outsider because there were not that many people who looked like me. And then we moved to the Middle East, and over there I was like the only American, and I was like, great, I never fit in anywhere I go. Yeah. So like that's kind of more what I'm trying to aim for in my stand-up, is not being like Arab or whatever. I'm like always just this outsider, like, and that's where I'm most comfortable now. So that's kind of why I have like jokes that are more this way or jokes that are more that way, and I'm slowly like refining that as my voice.
Right. Yeah. I relate more to being the outsider or the different than this one ethnic group.
Yeah.
Because when I'm around that ethnic group, I'm like, oh, I'm not as much of that as I thought.
100%.
Like
they don't have the same Valley Girl accent that you have. Is that what we're hearing?
Yeah. They're like, can I get my Valley? Do I have a Valley accent?
No, you don't. I'm just projecting my deep hate for.
I wish I did.
Right?
Do guys get Valley accent?
I don't know. Are you confirming that I have a Valley Girl accent?
No, you don't have any accent. You just sound normal.
That's what I thought. I thought I had a neutral, middle America accent.
Not even middle. You sound Canadian to me.
Thank you so much.
Or like LA. Okay, fine. You sound from the Valley. That's
God, no! No!
There's no such, like, I feel like these accents are going away. Even in New York, like, there's not as much, like, what's up,
I feel like
Brooklyn?
you have to, Brooklyn.
That's all. I mean, I feel like it's
New York.
There's like a monoculture taking over America and the world. We're like,
kind of. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. When I lived in New York for a little bit, I was living with a friend in Long Island, and there was some Long Island accents out there.
It's still there, but not as much.
Yeah.
It's somehow, because we're all doing the same things in a way. We're all on the same apps. We're all like...
That is true.
We all have the same restaurants in every city. If a cool like salad place opens up here, it opens up in New York and Colorado.
That's true. Although there's no lemonade in Colorado. I'm kind of upset. Or Mendocino Farms. So mark your words.
Two of my least favorite places.
What? I'm sorry. Did I yell into did I break the mic?
You actually distorted the mic. I'm going to edit that out at 44 minutes now.
Sorry. What?
Lemonade is just barely okay. Mm-hmm. It looks amazing, and every time you taste it, it's just okay. Mendocino Farms, why do they have 400 people working there?
Okay, because everybody loves it and it's delicious. Have you heard of supply and demand?
It's like $22 for a sandwich.
No, it's not. It's like $12.
Plus the sides, plus their stupid drinks.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're ordering too much. Okay,
probably.
You go in, you get the Saving Drake salad. Have you had this?
Saving Drake?
Saving Drake salad.
Is it like is there the rapper?
Okay, listen, Canadian, calm down.
Is it not? Is something else?
I don't know. No, I don't think it's Drake.
Drake's gonna sue.
No, I think it's like the farmer Drake. I don't know. Why are they saving him? Anyway.
Yeah.
That salad. Extra beets, extra almonds. Delicious.
Saving Drake salad.
It has goat cheese. It has vinaigrette. It has beets. It has apple slices. It has sugared candied almonds.
I will go there for lunch and do a Patreon review of this salad today.
Today? Will you? Are you going to pinky promise?
I promise.
Saving Drake salad.
Saving Drake salad is going to be on the Patreon. Join. It's only $5 a month, right?
$5.
You get free tickets to Latif and Friends. May 5th, Reem Edan on the show.
Guys, come see me. I'm funny.
Come see her. It's in Burbank. I like the shows in Burbank because it's like Johnny Carson, like live from Burbank.
Oh, I love that.
It's
I love
cool,
that.
right?
It's a cool venue too. I like that venue.
Yeah, it's a great venue. I'm excited that the show's there every Wednesday.
I love it. How long has your show been there?
This is going to be the first one.
Oh.
Yeah, the Comedy Bunker was in Sherman Oaks, and that's just become a bit more of a special event show, like once every couple months.
I love it.
And then this is going to be like a weekly workout show with like a good crowd, good room, good people.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
Good peeps. I love it.
I'm excited.
Thanks for having me on. I got to prep.
Yeah, because you're going to Dubai?
Going to Dubai for the Dubai Fest. Actually, Gad and Malay is going to headline that festival.
What? He's so good.
He's amazing. I'm so excited.
So it's a Dubai comedy festival?
The Dubai Comedy Festival.
Oh, wow. Did they give you a list of things you can't talk about?
No, but I've heard through the grapevine not to talk about certain things.
Okay.
I've performed in the Middle East. I was actually supposed to be the first American woman to ever perform in Saudi Arabia. And then that show got canceled because there was like a bombing or something.
Okay, because they heard you were coming?
Yeah, right. They're like, no. So that got canceled. But I had a show the week before in Bahrain, which is where I used to live.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because I had been like a chubby little kid, like short little bucktooth kid growing up. And I was like, one day I'm going to move to Hollywood and you'll all see.
And you did it.
And then I did it.
Yeah.
And then I came back 15 years later as a stand-up comedian. And there was like a billboard with my face on it. And I was like, I made it.
Yeah.
Like my old like junior high friends came to my show and like family friends and it was the whole thing.
Right.
But so I performed there and Bahrain is much more open-minded, interestingly enough. But I remember like I had jokes about ex-boyfriends that I just converted to my friend, blah, 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 blah. Cause I was like, I don't want to be ostracized.
It also like if the joke still works, it almost makes it stronger in a way because you're not relying on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then they're like, don't worry, everyone has boyfriends here. I was like, what? And then they're like, don't worry, we have bars here. I was like, I'm confused. Was it like
They just sabotage your set? It's just another comedian hating on you.
Right?
Oh yeah, just go do all your alcohol stuff.
I was
It's
so
gonna kill.
confused, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to do great. Just like skip the cocaine stuff.
So there's not. I do know people who have gotten lists for certain countries.
Yeah.
But this isn't the country that's giving you a list. There's just kind of like an understanding of areas you should probably avoid.
Yeah. I do that at
Kind of
colleges.
like a college.
Yeah. That's what when I get to a college, I'm like, hey, is there like any...
You should have Dubai ACA.
Yeah, Dubaka.
Dubaka.
I was like, is there anything I should like not talk about?
Sounds like Chewbacca's son.
Yeah, Dubaka. So the Arab version is already hairy, so it works great. No costume needed, very cheap. No, I asked at the school, I always ask, like, is there anything that happened on campus that I should be aware of?
Right.
Or things like, we're back to our thing, is like, how clean is clean? Like, once I get to the college, some colleges are like, do what you want, I don't care.
Yeah.
Some are like, just, my counselor's here, so blah, blah, blah.
Well, it's good to know, like, if you have, like, a dark joke that goes into a certain area, that there wasn't, like, something that literally happened that day and everyone starts crying or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I do that for international shows, too. Like, even in England. I actually had a horror story happen to me. I was in London for a show, and I sat with the producer the night before, and I'm like, these are my jokes. Are they going to get this? No. What's the word for this here? Got it. And it's England, so, like, I thought I had a good handle on it.
What's the word for this in England?
Don't laugh at me because it bit me in the ass. So I do my jokes, and I had this was a few years ago, so my set's different now, but I had a joke about how my dad used to text me the eggplant emoji when he made baba ganoush, like, come over tonight, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
And it usually kills. Okay, said that out loud, and it's just silence, and I was like, what happened? Why aren't you guys laughing? Turns out they don't say eggplant, they say aubergine. So nobody knew what I was talking about.
Okay, that's fair.
That's what I'm saying. You made the same mistake I did, where I was
That's
like,
fair.
Right?
That's fair.
England, they all speak the same language.
Right. But do they, let's go one step further, do they use the aubergine for...
Oh, wow. You aubergine.
Oh, sorry, I speak
Well,
French.
that was pretty French Moroccan of you.
It is, yeah.
Aubergine.
Some words you can't say anyway.
Well, I also had to like localize. I was like, okay, I have this joke about like, and I forget what it was.
But do they use that as the thing, the reference? Is it the
yeah,
emoji?
you're saying like, do they use that emoji? That's pretty universal, I think.
Is it?
I don't know. I should have asked that. It was hard for me to ask this like married man in front of me. Like, so do you guys use the eggplant?
You like come back for the like second show. You're like, aubergine, huh?
Aubergine.
Still nothing.
It's great.
Very
Good
cool.
times. Yep.
Well, Reem, I really appreciate you taking the time to come to do the podcast.
Of
I feel like we could
course.
do another hour, and I'd love to have you back.
I would love to come back. This is so much fun.
So much fun.
Learned, you learned, they learned.
Yeah, I learned how to write my own name, which is, I guess every child needs to know.
Yeah.
Tell us where to find you, your socials.
Everything is at Reem Edan, ReemEdan. And soon to be on Clubhouse.
Soon to be on Clubhouse. Join us. This will come out Monday. So that next Thursday, if you're listening to this on Monday, Reem and I will be on I think it's called Brown Comedians and Clubhouse.
Yes, I think so.
Just look up Fizza Dasani. It's on the Hot in the Mic room. And
I'll be there.
She'll be there. I'll be there. And Latif and Friends, May 5th, like we said. Join the Patreon for a free ticket. And thank you so much.